Hello everybody, how is it going? So today we are testing some Yamato on the sim. I think it's like 6 games, and our first game is against a Kaido, and I decided to go first. I'm still not too confident in what is the best, like going first or second. I think it's matchup dependent, but yeah, interesting to see Kaido even at all. But he has the turn 1 blocker, which means I can't just swing 8 and make him take a double attack. But honestly, in these couple games that I've played with Yamato, I feel like it's like not the worst when they play an early blocker. Because I'm kind of fine with just taking a card from them every turn and like building more of the board. So yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. Also, I think at some point, I commented on how I feel Gadatsu was like kind of weird in this deck, but I take that back. Gadatsu feels great in this deck because a lot of the time people will just have the counter to get out of like your first big swing, and you're like, yeah, that's chill. Just Gadatsu whatever they played. So yeah, the Sky Island cards feel really nice in this deck. 7L is the only one I'm iffy about, but this list I'm just playing, I think, what won the preliminary tournament a little bit ago. I'll throw the list up at the end, but not my list or anything. I just wanted to try a deck that I knew did well, so yeah. But we're in a pretty solid spot. I'm in a Hody on curve. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to swing big into leader yet, but it's kind of fine. You know, he's on only 4 cards in hand, so we should be able to out this queen pretty easily. So we're just going to start with that. He kind of has to let it go, because if not, he might end up having to take a double attack from Yamato, or from my, leader, whatever, same thing. But we pretty much know this queen will be outed by either that swing or the Hody swing. Just going to swing 5, and he actually ends up taking the 5k double attack. So that feels pretty good. Also lets me swing 10 with the Hody, so we're in a very good spot, I would say. Hasn't really had the means to fight back on board just yet. But he is on 9 done, so it could be a 9 Kaido, and either attempt to, like, after popping my Gadatsu, clear the Hody, or just go at life and then kind of put me on going for game next turn. But yeah, I can't lie, this deck is a lot of fun to play. It feels almost ignorant in how you play it. Not to say, I guess, the deck doesn't have any thought behind it or anything like that, but it's kind of like, I'm going to attack you, you're just going to have to either deal with it or eat, double attack, and I'm going to probably do it again next turn. So yeah, the deck is pretty fun, honestly. And we're probably going to try to go for game this turn. We do have the banish, so it's not unlikely we get it through. It's Kaido. He probably doesn't have a ton of counter. We're just going to banish 2. And even at this point, if we don't, get game, we should still be able to survive next turn, because I don't think he'd be able to drop another 9 Kaido. And I guess his next best bet would be like a 5-drop Frankie, and that means all of his attacks would be small, so we should be living that. But he ends up just conceding, and we end up going against a Gecko Moria next. What's also nice is I feel like with a bunch of games in this video, the video isn't too long, so I didn't have to speed any games up, just because of the nature of this deck, and just ending games quickly. So yeah. But this match I thought was kind of tough. It was definitely tough. He chooses to go second, right? Yeah. And starts off with the brand new, so that is pretty good. Grabs an Ice Age. Ice Age, I don't know how good it really is into Yamato. It depends, I think, what build you're on, because I know there is a more recent build that plays like 10-drop Dofi and 8-drop Kid, which I do like, and I want to test at some point, but this is just the Sky Island version. Again, I just wanted to play the list that I knew did well, and just see how it felt. But he does have the Porcelino on turn 2, which is pretty strong. Thankfully, I have the backup Ohm, because I don't get to Gadatsu, the Porcelino. And I think playing that Ohm is just better. Don't find the Holy, but I mean, we already have 2 in hand, so kind of expected. Also, all good. We get a guaranteed 2 bodies on board, so that is nice. We also have 2 Amarus in hand, which will probably almost certainly come in handy later. I was also iffy on like Amaru, but just because, it's not like an L where you'll sit at 1 life most of the time. It's like you'll either be at 1 or 0 with Yamato, and like before that, being at 0, it's a little bit scary. But I've honestly, in this play session, I've had no problem with Amaru. Feels pretty solid. So yeah, also just being searchable off of what's his name, Shura, is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. This turn is a little bit awkward. I think I just end up taking the Gedatsu on the Absalom because it's going to be the only really other character that'll be swinging at me. The brand new, yeah, he could dedicate 2 Dawn to attack with that again, but I mean, whatever really, honestly. It gives me another 2k, is down to 2 in hand, and I mean, I'll just give him a normal attack with the Holy. It's not really like it messes up my double attack on the leader or anything like that, so yeah, I think we're in a mostly okay spot, but honestly, so is my opponent. You know, I don't have a crazy board. Boruslino has been around there since pretty much the turn he's played him. And he plays the Gecko Moria, and I was like, oh no, it's gonna get bad. Cheats out a Hogback and the one that mills 5, I think it's Sindri, and adds back, I would imagine, maybe just more counter. Probably more counter, right? But he now has a very scary board, honestly. And I really don't have the means to fight back on it right now. Having I don't know, 5 and a 6k. But obviously I can't really interact with the Moria, so I have to deal with a 9k swing from now until the end of the game. But thankfully I top deck a Hody, which is genuinely really good here. I do think I misplay a little bit. I was definitely scared at dropping the Hody at first, but then I saw, like, I have 2 2ks and a what's it called? I have 2 2ks, I'll have 1 life, and I'll have whatever I draw off life, and I'll be able to clear some stuff on the board, so it like isn't as scary as I really thought it was gonna be. So yeah, we're gonna play the Hody. We're gonna tap down Boruslino and Hogback and grab Okiku off life, which kind of does nothing, but you know, it's okay. We're just gonna swing 7 at life because either he's forced to drop 2 cards or he eats the double attack. And if he doesn't eat the double attack, I can pretty easily trade in the board, and he does elect to counter out of it. So now we're just gonna swing baseline into his characters that I tapped, and I'm thinking maybe I should have tapped the Moria instead of the Hogback, just because I could have swung 10 at it, and he used a ton of 2k counters, so he either would have had to like eat my leader double attack and then just to save Gecko Moria, or you know, the 8-drop Gecko Moria, or yeah, just have to give that up. So I think that might have been the better play, but I'm pretty sure I live this turn. I can get out of, like, what? How much counter do I have? I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can get out of a 12k. So if he went like 2 on Moria, or like if he went 12-12, I think we were fine, right? Wait, no, we weren't. It depends, I think, what was in our life, because he'd have to split that. It'd be 3 Dawn on 8-drop, and then 7 on leader. It would have just depended on if we had what's it called? Just a 1k counter in life, which hopefully we wouldn't have had, but it's possible we didn't. But he ends up answering my Hody after, I think he Ice Ages it, then 8-drop Geckos, brings back brand new and Absalom, and just goes 5 at my dog. So honestly, like this spot isn't looking good. We're definitely gonna save the Gedatsu if we can. He goes 10 at it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just dead next turn if I don't save this, because I just have to go for game next turn. But I do have 2 Amarus, so I mean, you know, there's potential. There's potential. We top deck a Gedatsu, which isn't gonna do anything. And yeah, we're just gonna have to go for it. Just figure out what numbers are good. So I think I obviously am gonna start off with leader because it makes the most sense. We're gonna boost up our leader and tap, you know, Absalom for fun. And I'm just gonna swing 9. And I was like, if he can get out of this, I just, like, if he has this amount of counterpower already in hand, I don't think it mattered what number I swing here. There might have been a better way to do this, but yeah, we'll just see how it works out. I just go 9 because I'm like, he needs 2 2Ks and a 1K. Has used a ton of 2Ks. I'm going to just say he probably doesn't have 2 2Ks, and I go 9. And he does take, so that works. That works. Still have the second Amaru, and I'm just trying to figure out what would be the best here. I forgot about my leader effect existing. So I just go 9. I think I could have went 10 here, and then Amaru boosted the Gedatsu and went 11. but he only added 1 card to hand at that point. So it honestly probably was better to go 10 with the dog and then 11 with Gedatsu. But here we are. Here we are. We committed to it. We're just gonna, again, just hope he doesn't have it. And he takes, and I'm like, alright, I mean, as long as that trigger just doesn't KO my Gedatsu, we're all good, hopefully. So yeah, we're gonna use leader, give 2 Dawn to Gedatsu, Amaru up Gedatsu, give him 1 more Dawn, and attack for 12. And I'm like, he surely doesn't have it. And we managed to get it. He just has 4 1Ks and an Ice Age. So that last trigger was an Ice Age, so thank God I swung with the dog first. Could have been bad. Also, if that last life was 1 life earlier, I think I just lose because it would have hit the dog. Ice Age at a life is the most annoying thing ever, by the way. But now against the Sakazuki, the big bad, I do genuinely think Yamato does very well into Sakazuki. So I was curious to actually play out the match. I choose to go second because I'm like, just makes the most sense. I'm taking their curve from them, and I still get to do what I want to do. My curve also just works with going second. It works, I think, both ways. I think, Ohm fills in the going second curve, and, like Hody and Gedatsu kind of fill in the going first curve. But he also has the turn 1 blocker, which, again, I don't think is, like, too annoying to deal with. He also played Marineford, and I feel like it almost maybe just wasn't worth playing that because it's just -1. Maybe just cycle that and find more counter. He doesn't cycle this turn either, which is interesting. Maybe a bit newer to the deck. Immediately blocks the 5k with the Rosinante. We don't find a Holy off the Ohm, but we have 1 in hand, so it's all good. And we'll pass it over. Yeah, maybe he is newer to the deck, because I think I recall him not cycling a bunch, and I'm like, I wonder why he's not doing that. Or maybe he just had a handful of blockers, and he was like, yeah, it's lit. But yeah, his list is definitely off. He Soap Sheeps my Ohm and my Holy. And then if I remember correctly, he just doesn't have a Lucci. Or maybe he thought about it after doing that and was like, I can't play the Lucci because then I'll get double attacked. But I'm pretty sure he could play the Lucci. But to be fair, he gets Gedatsu'd on the Lucci and then gets double attacked. So he goes very minus in hand size. I think he might have been newer to the deck. Just looking back on this replay. So I'll have to get more games against Sakazuki, at least with this deck. But swinging 5, reducing Holy by 1, and then I think he stage reduced something. Oh no, he stage reduced Holy by 1 and then is swinging now, but hasn't clicked on something else to reduce. Okay, reduces Ohm by another 1. I'm just going to take the 5k, because, it's whatever. And we'll pass. We pick up a 7NL. Gedatsu isn't doing anything this turn, so probably just going to attack a whole bunch. We'll go 6, just because he's pretty low in hand size. And he just blocks and lets go of the Borsellino. So, obviously we might as well just attack with the Ohm and the Holy. We'll go 5 here, and then probably 7 with Ohm, and then go again with the Ohm Holy. Because having that kind of board against Sakazuki is pretty damn strong. We don't find Holy again, but we already have it, so it doesn't matter. And we'll pass. He is on 7 Dawn now. That needs to do something about my board. Plays Brook. That's probably not going to do it. Does send Ohm to the trash. Doesn't destroy it. Sends it to the trash. Very specific. Then I'll go 1 Dawn on leader. Attack for 6 at something after cycling a Marineford. Just goes at life. I should probably defend this. Yeah, we'll drop a 2k. And I'll pass it back. And we have the Onami in hand. This card is kind of crazy with this deck. If you don't know what Onami does, it can either give your leader banish when you hard play it, or if it is in life as a trigger, it is a Thunderbolt, basically. So we end up banishing 2 life, and then it should just be game, unless he has a lot of counter in hand. Yeah, he's definitely playing a weird deck list, and I think he's probably newer to Sakazuki. But now we're against Nell, I almost said Nell, Katakuri. which I think the pure yellow decks are probably a bit harder for Yamato. I ended up playing 2 games against the Katakuri because I was like, I would imagine this is probably your worst matchup or one of the not as good ones. Just because, well, especially I would think, I don't know. I know it's probably worse than Katakuri, right? Just because your double attack at some point stops working on it now. So, yeah. But we just play Shura turn 1. He plays nothing. His turn 1. His turn 2. He just hits us for 5. And then plays a Parasparrow. This turn, I could go double attack, but I don't know. I think I wanted to get down the Okiku. I don't know what was actually better, honestly. It might have been better to just swing 9 and call it. Yeah, swinging 9 was probably just better. My hand just had a lot of non-counter, and I wanted to play something, so yeah. Also, if he outs Okiku, I get a life back. Yeah, it might have been best to just swing 9, but I don't. I swing 5. He counters, and I play down the Okiku, or Kiku Nojo. It's Okiku. Come on. He's on 5 now, so he can Gedatsu, but he can't Gedatsu my Okiku, so that's chill, I guess. That's chill. Doesn't like to go with the Gedatsu, though. Just swing 7 at me. I get a Satori trigger, so why not? I mean, at least I'm going to be able to go pretty wide here. And goes 4 down on Parasparrow. I'm like, alright, sure. I get another Satori trigger, which I like not to use just because I have very little counter in hand. I had a 2k and a 1k prior to getting that trigger, so we're just going to keep that in hand. Thinking about just how I want to attack here. It's kind of awkward, right? I don't know. Because I want to out this Parasparrow. If not, I have potential to just die next turn. So I don't want that happening. So we just go 7 at the Parasparrow. He takes and doesn't find anything, which is pretty good. We'll attack for 8 with Yamato. Could have swung with Okiku first. Probably should have done that. But, I mean, hey, here we are. And he gets a Cracker trigger, which is kind of scary. But I'm pretty sure I have just enough that if he were to split next turn, I get out of it and I live. So, yeah, I guess that's good at least. Now he's on 7 dons. Yeah, if he went like 4 on Cracker, 3 on Leader, it's 9-9. I can get out of that. And if he went lower, you know, on like Cracker, like just went 8 and then went like 10 with Leader, I can get out of that too. So I know I was living this turn, so that's good at least. I also have a ton of Amarus, so next turn we're probably forced to just go for game. So that's just what we're gonna do. Yeah. He is thinking for a little bit here. That's fine. Understandable. He probably has to go for board. Maybe just try to clear the Satori. Maybe doesn't want to out the Okiku, which makes sense because then, you know, you heal me. Taps 1, plays down a Pudding, finds a Sanji, which is the blocker Sanji. So I'm like, okay, if he's just trying to play a blocker this turn, there is definite potential of me just winning next turn. He goes 7 at the Satori. I think about defending it, and I think I could have, knowing he'll probably want to play down the Sanji, but I don't end up doing that, which, I don't know. It was a debate. I think maybe I'm supposed to save that, and then like his Leader could potentially clear it. Well, no, I'd be able to counter out of a 5, so it might prevent him from playing Sanji, but I was like, I kind of want him to play the Sanji because I have all these Amarus. I have all 4 Amarus in my hand right now. So I'm like, how am I going to do this? We do have Leader ability active right now and giving the 2 Rested Dawn to one of our characters, so that is good. We'll play the first Amaru, tap the Sanji, boost up our Leader. We'll play the second one, just tap the Pudding for fun, and attack for 11. Just force him to take that. Or probably force him to take it. He might have 3 2Ks. You never know. It's pretty likely, honestly. He doesn't really counter out much. But he gets an Amaru trigger, which is definitely awkward. But I can swing with the Shura. So that's, I think, just our best bet. We'll give an Amaru to the Shura, then attack for 7. And if he has this, I just have to clear something on his board and hope that I can get out. And I think he had just 3 1Ks, so we were in a good spot to go for game if it weren't for the Amaru trigger. But we end up clearing the Cracker and just passing. If we get another turn, we might be okay. We only have 2 2Ks in hand right now. But he plays, what's it called, Reject? I didn't even know what the card did. But we end up getting an Onami trigger. It's interesting you can trigger your life off that card. And yeah, we are not able to get it there. Have 3 non-counter in our hand. But I do get a rematch there. And I do think that match is pretty close for probably making the wrong call on not swinging with lead that turn I played the Okiku. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it was close. It's yellow, you know, you gotta expect there's probably at least 1 trigger in life, and he had 3 the turn I went for game, right? He had 3 or 2. No, he had 2, but then got the trigger, which put him at 3 technically. So, I mean, yeah, I think I was just hoping to not run into 1, and that was just my best bet. But right here, because he doesn't play anything on his second turn, I'm like, I can definitely just go for the double attack this turn. He might end up getting, you know, 1 of his triggers, but I mean, whatever, it's fine. I won't be too behind on board. And he potentially does here. We'll see. He does not. Okay. So yeah, we get away with that, you know, double attack pretty easily. He's on 5 Dawn. He can, like, Gedatsu or something, but that really doesn't matter because it's just on my Shura. It's like, whatever. We'll counter out of the 5K because, honestly, I mean, Gedatsu's not going to hit anything impactful anymore. And we probably just want to continue, like, we'll just go for 7s because we know, yeah, I guess I could have just swung for, 11 there. But we're going to build up a little bit of the board just so we can fight back on, like, the Gedatsu, or just keep pressuring life. Either one. I just think Ohm Holy is very efficient, so I think it was worth taking that play there. He goes 5. I'm going to defend because this is kind of a race. And in theory, I think I should win the race, probably. He plays a Big Mom, and I'm kind of forced to heal him here. I could trash a life, but that means I, like, absolutely have to go for game next turn. And again, against yellow, triggers are a thing. And I didn't expect me to not run into 1 on this attempt. So yeah, we're probably just gonna end up, we could Hody, which sounds kind of scary, but I mean, we have a good amount of counter. We got 3 2Ks, a 1K, and we got the 0 cost event, so I wasn't too scared to do it. I will go 1 Dawn on leader just because I imagine he'll take the 2K out of this. It makes sense, and he does. We're gonna go 6 at the Gedatsu. He'll take another 2K. That's cool with me. Yeah, I messed up a bit here. I'm like, why can't I lead her? I'm like, oh yeah, he's at 4 life. Let me just attack him. Maybe he'll take it. And he does. So I get to use my leader ability to swing 10 at the Big Mom. So we take a whole bunch of 2Ks from him this turn. And we'll probably live. He can't play 10 Mom. And I think 10 Mom might have just, like, sealed the game. But he goes for the reject. And I get my own Amaru trigger. Feels good, man. Feels good, man. We got him back with it. We paid him in full there. But yeah, just thinking on what I want to discard. And we have just a ton of counter power. You have 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, we should be able to get out of all this pretty reasonably because he only has 5 Dawn to work with after using the reject. We also potentially get a more counter out of life. I take the double 2K out of the 8K swing. He Amaru's, boosts up the Gedatsu, goes for 9. And I do take the counter here, just because if he has another Amaru, he'd be swinging for 10 with leader. And that's the exact amount I had. But as we see in my life, I would have got another 1K, and I would have been fine. So yeah, we were winning that regardless. I do go for a third rematch, but he ends up quitting out, which is fine. You know, it's whatever. Finally, against a green-purple Doflamingo. Kind of like Kaido, I was intrigued on what he was playing. You know, what's the new stuff doing in green purple Dofi. He plays the Rosinante, turn 1. That's cool. I'm just gonna try to play on curve now, and just poke him, kind of force him again to take, defending his leader early. Discarding a card every turn. I don't know if that made sense, but you guys get what I'm saying. We kind of get to drain resources from him because he doesn't want to take, a 5k that has double attack on it, which makes complete sense. But he'll play another Rosinante and attack me for 7. I'll take that. That's all good. We're on 5 Don. We're going to take a Gadatsu on one of the Rosinantes. And then I'm fine with swinging with the dog. He'll probably take the dog swing and then counter out of my leader swing. So that's fine. That's all good. Yep, attacking with leader. I imagine he'll take a 1k or he'll just block. Takes the 1k. We'll pass. Next turn we have our Hody. So we can probably clear whatever he's going to play this turn. Or we can just straight up try to put him down to 1 or 0 life. Either one sounds good. He goes 6 at my Holy. I'll take a 2k. And I think this is the first game we saw Momo. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I feel like Momo would be nice here, just being able to heal 1 and getting down a blocker. But yeah, we play Hody this turn, tap the Diamante and the Corazon. And I just swing 5 of life. Again, not expecting him to take it. But he does. And I'm like, oh, that's not normal. Maybe he just had no counter in hand at that point. And then, yeah, I was debating here going for board or just going for life. And I'm like, I'm just going to go for life and try to put him at 0. So I really just force a lot of cards out of hand, which, I mean, sounds good. We'll go 6 or 5 with Holy, then 6 with Gadatsu, and we'll just go 10 with the Hody. And he should give us that last life on the 10k swing, unless he has a 2-cost event and a 2k. So, should put him down to 0. And I think next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he should be on 8 Dawn. So that means, no 10 cost, 8 cost wouldn't have, or be able to have a Dawn on it. So, I think we put him in a pretty bad spot, just putting him to 0 that turn. Him definitely not having the counter for the 5k swing from my leader was definitely not good. So, yeah, unfortunate. But he plays down 7-drop Kid. Honestly, he probably will survive another turn, just because he still does have the 2 blockers, and I guess the only thing I have in hand to tap a blocker would be Izo. So, yeah, he'll probably live another turn, but I'm feeling still pretty safe. I'm not too worried about it. But probably just going to swing 7, and I imagine, like, Holy. That would make the most sense. Probably the best number. That or my life, but I don't know, swinging at my life is probably a bit scary, just because there could just be a trigger in there that would either interact with the blocker or give me another body to swing with. Yeah, he ends up going at the Holy, which I think is the right call. And we top deck a Hiyori, which works pretty well with my Momo, because I was thinking about just like playing Okiku and then playing Momo to put Okiku on top of my life. But now we don't have to. We can just play Hiyori, stack the Okiku, and then just heal the Hiyori with the Momo. So that's pretty cool. That's nice. We're going to go 2 Dawn on Hody, and he will Spider's Web after blocking with Diamante and 1k. Kind of funny because his leader's 6k. He didn't need to do that, but maximum value Diamante right there, I guess. We'll play Hiyori. We'll take the bottom life. It's just a Gadatsu, and we'll put Okiku in life. Then we'll give 2 Dawn to our Gadatsu on field and attack for 8s. He already used his event for this turn, so yeah, the 8k swing definitely matters at this point. And then we'll play Momo, put Hiyori, and I should have put her on bottom. I don't know why I put her on top, because I know obviously Okiku was on the top of my life, but yeah, that's my bad. That was a misplay. And he plays 8 Kid, and then I cheats out something probably, hopefully a blocker, and actually just ends up conceding there. Yeah, he was definitely not in a great spot. I probably would have been able to get rid of Kid there. And if not, I would have been able to kind of keep sustaining myself. I had another Momo. I think I was just in a very good spot there, and he ends up just scooping it up because he has very few cards in hand. So, yeah, but anyways, that is all the games I have for you today. If you guys want me to play more Yamato or a different OP06 deck, I'm definitely down to try it. I was just in the mood to play Yamato, I don't know. Yeah, I also want to try the other build that runs like 8-drop Kid, 10-drop Dofi. That looks pretty fun too. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.